you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to review a book that I read while I was at Black Book Bash. Actually, I started reading it at Black Book Bash. But, and if you don't know what that is, it was an event that was in Jacksonville a couple of weekends ago. And a bunch of authors got together, which I really appreciate. And shout out to KCR Kelly because she sponsored it along with Dr. Ian and her friend Latasha. And they ended up putting together a really, really nice event, although it kind of started off a little shaky because there was a little controversy involved, but the event was not tarnished at all. There were independent authors there were traditionally published authors there were book talkers there, and readers. And bringing us all together was just the coolest thing because they treated the independent authors the same as they treated the traditional authors, and I just was like really happy about that. But anyway, while I was there, I met an author named Terri Haynes. I'd never heard of her before. And Terri and her husband were sitting at their table knitting. And I thought, wow, that's interesting, while they were selling their books. And she had two books that she was selling. This one that she put out a couple of years ago, and then the one that she just put out. I decided I wanted this one because it dealt with the Underground Railroad, and I was interested in that because, as you may know, my cousin Virginia Hamilton wrote a book about the Underground Railroad as well. It was called The House of Dyes Drew years ago. So anyway, this book is called Passages of Hope, and this is the cover. Again, the author's Terri J Haynes, Terri J Haynes. And this book is about, it's a two POV book. So there's two storylines going on. There's a modern day storyline where Gracie McNeil, she is opening up a knitting store in the house that her grandmother left her. And the second storyline is Olivia Kingston. I can never remember people's names, even in real life. Olivia Kingston, and she is a station master in the 1800s for runaway slaves. And her story parallels Gracie's. And of course, we found out some interesting things at the end, so I'm not going to give you any spoilers. But Gracie is having some issues with self-confidence. She doesn't have a lot of self-confidence. She blames herself for some things in the past. She doesn't feel worthy that her grandmother left her the house. And her uncle never lets her forget it. So we'll talk about him later. But so she's struggling trying to get this store open, and she's also conducting knitting classes with some children and things like that. She meets a guy who convinces her to see if her house is capable or qualifies rather to be on the list of historic homes, because the house next door is, and the house next door, the man who owned it was William Still, and he was a known Underground Railroad advocate type helper person. So throughout the story, she's struggling with the fact that her grandmother died a lot. She struggles a lot, so just be ready for that. And the fact that she's interested in this new guy, and his interest in her house. So she's not really sure if he's interested in her or just interested in her house. But it turns out to be, you know, what you would like it to turn out to be. And the story of Olivia and Douglas, the ones who were in the 1800s, really, really touched me because Olivia is so different from Gracie. Olivia is strong-willed, and Olivia is confident, and Olivia will take chances, where Gracie is not as confident. She's not a really what you might call self-reliant person, not real bold at all. So there are two different storylines going on there. My favorite character is Douglas, Olivia's husband in the 1800s. Douglas is the most patient, loving guy I have read about in a novel in a long time, and I just fell in love with him because he reminds me so much of my husband. But yeah, I love Douglas and his support. He was real supportive of her during this Underground Railroad stuff, and she was trying to protect him from it. She didn't really want him to be involved at all. But in the final analysis, he had to get involved, you know. And there is a slave that comes, or an ex-slave who ran away, comes to their house and brings a little girl. And anyway, I don't want to tell you the whole story, but it was touching. It was sweet. Some of it was sad. but I thought it was a really good read, and I love the historical aspect of it because, as you guys know, I write historical fiction. So if you want a good read that's a comfort and cozy read, I felt like this was a cozy read. She is a Christian author, so there's no cussing or, overt sex or anything like that in here. So just so you know. But I really, really enjoyed it because I did not feel preached to in this book. I did not feel preached to in this book. She has some references to God, but it's not like, overbearing or overpowering. You might even overlook it as you're reading it. You might not even notice that it's there, but it's there. So anyway, shout out to Terri J Haynes for this book. I'm going to be getting the next one. I wanted to read this one first, so I'm going to be getting the next one. If you have not read Passages of Hope, please go and get it. I believe it's on her website. I don't believe it's on Amazon, but I think you can get it at independent bookstores, but I don't think you can get it on Amazon. Yeah, so I would just look up Terri J Haynes. Actually, duh, I can put her information in the description section and you can just go from there. So yeah, so I wanted to review this and let you guys know how I felt about it. I'm going to try and do more book reviews. I'm reading a couple of things now. I have joined this group called Crime Writers of Color because, as you guys know, I'm writing a cozy mystery series. So I joined that group, as well as my romantic suspense book kind of qualifies. So I'm going to be reading some more of those authors as well. So I will be trying to share with you some names maybe that you didn't know that are really good writers like Terri. So thanks for watching, and if you're a writer, keep writing, and if you're a reader, keep reading. Bye.